Hey, muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Bueno, mi gente, as always, I want to start off by thanking everyone for you guys' words and prayers and for the time you take to express and send my way. Muchísimas gracias del corazón, como siempre. And to get into the story at hand, I'm just going to take you back till 1999 and just touch a little bit further on how these individuals, once they reach that pedestal, sometimes being family is not enough. Okay, so as I have mentioned before in past stories, one of the places I end up hitting up north before actually getting put on the lista with, that the norteño raza and getting sent to Ironwood was Vacaville. It was basically an emergency transfer due to the chaos that was happening across the street in Solano. When we hit Vacaville, I already told the story, which I will reflect on a little bit better. Um, we weren't there that long. Well, at least I was. I got out there, and the first time I went out to the yard was basically under palabra on the yard that we're going to be taking off on, which happened to the dot. The, we we played that macho part, to try to stand our 10 toes on the yard, but in reality, we got our butt whooped. But we ended up going to Willis, to the hole. When we were at Willis, a camarada drove up. And, there was a lot of questions about the camarada. Nothing like he was acting shady or nothing. It was just the fact that his paperwork checked. What I mean by this is when he went out to yard, that camarada had some nasty cuts to him, to his face, to his throat, to the back of the head. And so, we had to do a background real good because he was coming from Pelican Bay. So we checked, and from all angles, it was coming back that the camarada just had a checada coming. So, as we were there, we knew that it had came to effect, that amongst camaradas, we weren't supposed to use box cutters. And even if they were used, we weren't supposed to, you know, touch the face or neck area unless we were trying to take their win or leave that mark. So he's able to touch down and he could be dealt with every yard and on every yard as he was getting there. But as time progressed, we kept talking and he started opening up a little bit more. He had a lot of anger against, which was the Pilis. So he started telling us about the Pili, which this was the first time that I heard of him. It was a Pili from El Monte Flores, Gabi, and how he was related to him. Now, if I sit on here and tell you exactly what relationship we had with them, I don't know if it was his carnal or his, primo, but they had the same last name, you know. The camarada his placazo was Mugsy from El Monte Flores. He had me at this time, about 5, 6 years. He was a lifer. So basically, he started opening up with us, and it was some hood thing. It was something that had to do with their barrio, where I guess some feria got misled, or I don't know to what extent. But at the end of the day, it had to do with feria. And this Billy, he was at that stage, where you're barely gonna be made or you're just made, so you don't want to open that window, or they always on eggshells to what the next man may think of them, so they don't want that weakness. So I guess this was an issue up in Pelican Bay. This is your primo, whatever, he's on the linea, and what's up with this feria. Now, just to be clear, this feria wasn't even known to him. It was owed to that one Pili I'm going to be talking about soon here, which was Shy. But, it just happened that when Shy caught, that Fed time and everything, I guess, he turned some things over to Gavi, and Gavi felt he needed to collect it to the dot. So he wanted to prove a point. So he had Camarada's move on him. But see, what later came out to be is that even though there was already directives out that we couldn't use box cutters on Camaradas, we couldn't slice them in the neck, face no more. That was just a no-no, especially if it was just a checada, like un ponte bien, And the directives from Gavi were to go ahead and make a point of him. He specifically asked them to use what they used on him, which were box cutters, and to make a point. And the reason why I'm even telling this story is because there's so many youngsters nowadays that they feel they have that love or that security of having a homeboy being one of these individuals, having a family member, or they sit and think, I'm gonna meet one out of many that's gonna actually make it and have that righteous love when it comes to these individuals. And it's just not there, man. Once they're there, the only thing on their mind is power, not looking weak amongst their gente, and in reality, them. That's all that matters, them. Anything that has to do with them, which is dope, money, whatever. Family, anything goes out the window, man. When I tell you they snatched homeboy up real good, I mean, they got him real good. Across the face, both sides, back of the head, neck, everything. Just like if they were trying to take someone's wing, But it was over a misunderstanding that later down the line, it just became from Shy to Gavi. Hey, oh, Dispensa, this did get taken care of. He. And at the same time, a camarada, got hurt. And not only by one of them, but it was one of them that grew up with him together. Went to their grandma's house together, sat, ate dinner, shared Christmases, and it just goes to show how little anything has a meaning for them once they're there, man. Within time, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Gavi went out backwards too, and he did something dirty, when he decided to pull out. I was already in the feds, man, but it was a big thing, because he was under Shy and a couple Pilis up there, so it was a big thing where he directed the whole Ramfla to do something so he could sneak out. But that wasn't it, that wasn't even it, man. There was a big shipment coming from, across ways and avenue, and he waited for that to hit. Certain people get there, he organized it. This had to be months planned ahead, man. And he sat on it. He sat on that, and he sat on the feria, before he pulled from the yard. He made sure he put people on the lista to get hit on different pintas, so before the word even got back that he had already taken that walk, they were already gotten hit. I mean, it's just the type of individuals they are, because a lot of people could come on here and say, oh, but they made it. Yeah, they made it, but they made it stepping on how many individuals. Or, whoever wants to prove me wrong can, tell me a story about a Pili that got to where he's at by not stepping on raza, by not hurting camaradas, that one people that's loyal and that's everything to the dot. Within time, Moxie, I guess, he ended up hitting the main line. This is how bad he got hit. He was up in Pelican Bay, so they ended up sending him back a route because it's a medical facility, because they hurted him. So they end up sending him from Willis to the line. And while we're back there, I guess he caught a celly from his own neighborhood. But if I sat here and told you who he was, I would be lying to you, and I'm not gonna do that. But I guess he caught feelings, which is understandable. And homeboy moved on his homeboy for the same reason that he was under his familiar, which is the one person that's supposed to be representing his neighborhood up there in the structure, So he moved on him, man. Did what he had to do, Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people that come on here and say, hey, but we heard Muggsy, this, and that. I heard a lot of stories about Muggsy, that he liked to use while he was up in Pelican Bay, this and that. But not one of them had to do with him owing them while he was on the line. And I seen the amapils that were being written, when we ran that make. It ain't something that I'm right here, telling you all the he said, she said stuff. I read the amapils where, he got done under an assumption from his own familiar. He assumed that he owed Güero Shide. He never waited for the reply. He decided to act on it. And his orders were, get some box cutter, prove a point on the yard. El Monteflores, whoever messes up one way or another, this is machicada towards them. I mean, me personally, I could say a lot of things, man, but I never lost love for my neighborhood like that, to actually go extra out my way to impose punishment and hurt. And then especially if there's somebody there that's a family member. But that's again, Gabi went out backwards, He really he really pulled one of those Hollywood movies to go out, And then the headaches he left behind, because there was a lot of headaches, man. There was a lot of dope that was given to him that was still owed by them, and he sat on it. He was smart, But again, it's those staccatos ways, man. They're always looking for their benefit, even when they're about to take that walk. They can't just say, you know what, I'm just gonna creep out. Nah, they have to take that walk with a bang, right? But when you live hurting people, you can't expect anything different. Especially you hurting those people that you're supposed to take care of, As you guys know, that just hasn't happened in years, Well, at least since it's been out the shoe. A lot of people say, if they weren't here, camaradas this, camaradas that, but man, who knows how it would be, but it would be amongst camaradas, right? It wouldn't be about somebody that straight up, I remember Chino, when Frank B used to come up to you and straight laugh, at camaradas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sureños and 1 norteño, and you can't do nothing about it and start laughing at you on your face. just something to think about, for those that are out there, man. You know, the human mind works in layers, you could put it like that. It matures to a certain point, little by little, little by little. And I understand that. But, there's just too many people out there putting the stories about these individuals and how they act. I mean, look at this. Again, I'm not sure if they had the same last name, everything. Yeah, I'm not sure if he was his carnal or his first blood primo, his first primo hermano. But regardless, he didn't have to go to that extreme, but he did. It just comes to show once they're there what they think, regardless. But anyways, mi gente, with this said, I hope I made some sense out of this. I know there's going to be a lot of camaradas from El Monte that come on here because Muxie's known, And, when I was in Ironwood, I actually talked about this with a lot of camaradas from EME. And they knew it was dirty, but at the end of the day, the Pili was still sitting up there in Pelican Bay, so they couldn't really speak about it, right? But no, homeboy decided he got what he didn't deserve, and he thought he went out righteously, which to me it ain't, hitting another camarada from his neighborhood behind somebody else's actions is just worse, right? It's the same as he got done. But with this said, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys rest. It's kind of late, Just been going through some headaches, here and where I'm at in Sinaloa. So it's something right now, It's something just on the action of the gente here. They're taking actions that they've never taken, and government ain't happy. I'll just leave it at that, So they're going up and down, and they have a reason, They have a good reason. I mean, just because they think someone stole, they could pick up 60 members from a family, including kids, babies, and disappear them. Something they never done, but I guess rules are always meant to be broken, When you give someone power, they're going to use and abuse and take advantage of the ones that don't have that power, I guess. But it's hot, it's just, and then, just headaches. I'll just leave it at that. But mi gente, muchísimas gracias. Please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. I hope I made sense a little bit. Buenas noches, descansen.